Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the stream. The 1022nd day of the full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine. Oh, I took the camera off. I got all flustered here. No pocket in the t-shirt today, so let's see. Yeah, that looks kind of funny. So I've been chatting with the Cars for Ukraine people, and they're doing a joint campaign with Starsky, Mercado, Rick the Ukrainian, Johnny FD, War Translated, Shills, AT, bleh, I can never remember how to, was it ATP or A? Anyways, the geopolitics guy. They're going to give me a link for like my own little section of the fundraiser. Go into that more when I have that link, but if you guys don't want to wait, and ATP, okay. When you're dyslexic, abbreviations kind of get mixed up. If you guys don't want to wait and want to help out already, there's the link in the chat for you. But hopefully I'll get my own little link and we'll be able to see how well we can do on a fundraiser. No air alerts in Ukraine at the moment. Always good news. And let's hop into... before we hop into the operational information, I'm going to hold the videos for now and do all the videos I have saved up after Zelensky's speech. In the meantime, let me just say hi to Andrew Petri, Ronnie Vakin, good to see you here, Niels, Nikki Hill, Mark Sangamon, Von Baumscheller, glad to have you guys here with me. And now let's hop into the operational information as of 8 a.m. December 11th regarding the Russian invasion. As always, start with glory to Ukraine. The 1022nd day of the large-scale armed aggression of the Russian Federation against Ukraine has begun. In total, 208 combat clashes were recorded yesterday. According to updated information, yesterday the enemy launched 2 missile strikes using 3 missiles on the positions of Ukrainian units and settlements, as well as 22 airstrikes, dropping 42 bombs from aircraft. That doesn't translate right, and for some reason, I've reported it several times, and they just aren't updating the translator. And it's not ZCU translation, it's Google translation. In addition, it carried out more than 3,500 artillery strikes, including 111 from multiple launch rocket systems. Russia also launched 1,600 kamikaze drones for destruction. Airstrikes were carried out against the settlements of Ulaki, Oleksivka, Hirohorivka, Vasilivka, Constantinople, Andorivka, Vermika, Velika Novosilka. They don't put an and in there, so it's like it feels weird stopping without putting the and. Over the past day, missile troops and artillery of the defense forces hit 2 control points, 3 ammunition depots, and 1 area concentration of personnel of the Russian invaders. Going into the Kharkiv direction, the enemy stormed 7 times in the areas of Volchansk, Lipetsk, and Staritska. Hopping on to Deep State. Lipetsky, Staretsky, and Volchansk. Similar areas of attack pretty much every day. Mostly it's in this area, but today included over here. Still keeping an eye out on Kozacha Lupan. Attacks are happening in this area from time to time, but thankfully Russia has not gained any ground. Deep State is still showing that area is red, Russian occupied. There has been no video confirmation, just reports from Russian Telegram, and it is believed that that is misinformation by Russia to try and hurt the morale of Ukrainian people and their troops. Moving on to the Kupiansk direction. I need to get that out of the way, so I'm back to clicking in the normal areas. In the Kupiansk direction, 11 attacks by the invaders took place during the day. The defense forces repelled enemy assault actions near Petropavlivka, Kolonivka, Zavrovi, Hushkivka, and Lozova. Not a huge jump up, but in the double digits instead of single digits in the area. Hushkivka, Kolonivska, Zarizova, Lozova, still trying to push out from the bridgehead they'd made against the Oskil River. Excuse me. Hey there, Raptor, McPigeon, Nikki Hill. Good to see you guys with us. Sally Luz. Thank you for covering the news, Canty. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you. This is Sally. Thanks for coming, Sally. I appreciate you being here. So we're starting to see an increase in the number of attacks in Kupiansk direction. Limansky direction, the enemy attacked 26 times in the areas of the settlements near Petropavlivka, Kolonivska. Oh, sorry, I had that backwards. There we go. I wish they'd get the formatting better on this page again. So let me restart again. In the Limansky direction, the enemy attacked 26 times. They tried to advance in the settlements of Kharkivka, Kopanki, Nadivya, Zelenihe, Makivka, Yampolivka, Zarechny, Terny, Torsky, and in the directions of Druselbuvka and Chernesnya. Again, normally like the low teens for the number of attacks in this area, and 26 of them today. Kopanki, Cherneshchina, that's a hard one to say for me. Kharkivka, Makivka, Terny, Yampolivka, Zarechny, and Torsk. Coming down here, Hirohorivka, Dronivka, and they don't always mention it, but there's usually attacks in the Serebryanka forest. Again, a step up in the number of attacks today in this direction. Moving on to the Kramatorsk and Torets directions. In Kramatorsk, there was 3 clashes recorded in the areas of Chasiv Yar, Stupochny, and Bilohora. In the Torets direction, the enemy carried out 10 attacks near Torets, Serebryanka, and Delivka. 1 clash in Torets is still ongoing. Of course, Kramatorsk direction, Chasiv Yar, Stupochny, and Bilohora is a smaller settlement in this area. Delivka for Torets direction, of course, Torets itself, and Serebryanka. There really hasn't been an increase in assaults in this area yet. The enemy is still mainly focused in the Pokrovsk direction, where Ukrainian defenders stopped 53 assaults of the aggressor in the areas of Mirolubivka, Promin, Mirnograd, Novotroitsky, Pushkin, Lysivka, Dashchenki, Novotrud, Zeleny, Pishchany, Pokrovsk, and Serchenko. Pretty much every town on the front in the Torets direction, starting with Mirolubivka here, Promin, Lysivka, Dashcheny, Novotrud, Serchenko, Novotroitsky, Pushkini. So pretty much every town along the front line Russia sent an attack to today. Yeah, it's a real hot area. Ukrainians are fighting hard to hold back the waves of Russian assaults. Howdy, Claire. Good to see you. Ozzy. Good to see you. I don't see anybody else hopping in. Everybody's just saying hi to each other. Yeah, I love that about the chats here. Everybody's able to just chill, get along, have a conversation, exchange a few jokes. That's important with everything that's going on. Even Ukrainians are joking, trying to keep their spirits up in these troubling times. So that was Pokrovsk with 53 assaults yesterday. In the Kharkiv direction, Ukrainian Defense Forces repelled 45 attacks on the positions of our troops near the settlements of Sansivka, Staraturny, Zora, Korokovo, Deshcheny, and Delany. That's pretty much every town on the front line. Starting here with Zora, Sansivka, Staraturny, Korokovo, Delany, Deshcheny. These towns are not being mentioned. My personal opinion, and this is just my personal opinion, is Ukraine has already pulled out of this area so they don't become encircled. And that is why we haven't heard anything about Elizavetsivka, Romanivka, Hanivka, and Upenskivka yet. There hasn't been any video confirmation of this, so Deep State has not updated it. But I believe these areas Ukraine has already pulled out of. It's unfortunate that Ukraine is losing ground. But when you have 150,000 Russians sending meat wave after meat wave, you have to give up ground or you give up troops. And Ukraine's not willing to give up troops yet. In the Vermis direction, the enemy carried out 16 offensive actions towards the positions of Ukrainian units in the areas of Vasily Gay, Konstantinopolsky, Roznolny, Trudrov, Novodorivka, Sukovyali, Blahodatny, and Makrivka. Mark that so I can get back to it. Of course, Trudov, Konstantinopolsky, Sukovyali, Roznolny, Blahodatny, Makrivka, Zeleny Pol. Where are the other ones? I don't see them offhand. There might be some of these smaller towns that I just can't make out the names sometimes of these. Lavine. So I don't think that was one. But sometimes the Deep State just does not mark the smaller towns here, and it's hard to know, and Ukrainian armed forces could be using those smaller towns as a reference point. It's just hard to know sometimes, hard to find them. And then you have situations where even town names are very similar. So, again, attacks all along this front. Velika Novosilka is holding strong. But as you can see, Russia is on the outskirts of the town. Moving on to the Orhiv direction. The enemy attacked 7 times in the areas of Novoandrivka and Petrivka. In the Dnipro direction, Russian invaders tried to storm the positions of our units 5 times. These actions did not bring them success. Of course, Orhiv is right here, just to the southeast of Zaporizhia. Novoandrivka. And, what was the other town name? I'm Yetichacha. Yeah. That's a tough name to say. I'll have to get help pronouncing that one correctly. But that town is here, closer to the old reservoir. So, Novoandrivka and Plachachu. I'm going to have to ask my friends how to say that correctly. Anyways, those were the assaults in Orhiv direction. Dnieper direction, again, they're talking about this whole front. But in general, the attacks are happening in this area. We saw the video yesterday with the Russians using the boats to cross the river and Ukraine attacking the boats in the river. So we don't know exactly where the attacks are happening, but assume in this area, especially in these islands where there's like small housing settlements along the banks. And moving on to, sorry about that. The operational zone in Kerch, units of the Defense Forces of Ukraine repelled 22 attacks by the Russian invaders over the past day. Another clash is ongoing. In the Volyn Policia directions, no signs of formation of offensive enemy groups have been detected. Our soldiers inflict significant losses on the occupation forces in manpower and equipment and actively undermine the enemy's offensive potential in the rear. It goes into the losses. We'll cover that with the graphic that is in just a minute. They end with, join the defense forces. Oh, get out of there. Together we will win. Razom de Peremojemo. And of course, glory to Ukraine. Moving on, let's grab the updated losses for today. Hello, Nian. Welcome to the stream. There's our favorite joke teller, LJ Boone. Anyways, total combat losses of the enemy. December 11th. I almost said November 12th. December 11th, the 1022nd day of the Russian invasion. Russia lost 1,400 personnel today, bringing the total over 757,000 troops. 2 tanks were eliminated today, as well as 20 armored personnel vehicles, 3 artillery systems, 4 UAVs, 36 vehicles, and 4 special equipment. Russian losses still remaining high as they continue to do meat assaults on Ukrainian defenses. Map is still clear. Let me grab Zelensky's speech, and I hope it's not a download because I forgot to download it again. It is a download, but it's a smaller one.
Бажаю здоров'я, шановні українці, українки. Говорив щойно з прем'єр-міністром Іспанії про нашу спільну роботу усіх в Європі.
Sorry, I watch at 2 times normal speed to go through all the videos to make sure I can play them on YouTube. And I forget to slow it down sometimes. So, up the volume and here we go.
Бажаю здоров'я, шановні українці, українки. Говорив щойно з прем'єр-міністром Іспанії про нашу спільну роботу усіх в Європі заради єдності, яка може наблизити мир. Я вдячний Іспанії за підтримку і особливо за підтримку в посиленні нашої ППО. Продовжимо роботу і цього тижня, і наступного, щоб спільні європейські позиції стали більш міцними і допомогли усім нам повернути Україні, усій Європі безпеку. Завжди координація, спільна робота допомагають досягти результатів. Саме це зараз і потрібно Європі, а не чиїсь окремі зусилля всупереч усім іншим на континенті. Досягти надійного миру – це важке завдання, і цю вагу треба змогти витягти. Європейська позиція щодо миру має бути максимально сильною. Сьогодні провів кілька важливих нарад разом з міністром закордонних справ України Сибігою. Ми готуємо вже незабаром заміни в дипломатичному корпусі. За 1,5 тижні представимо. Зараз тривають співбесіди з кандидатами, з кандидатками на посаду послів України. Є сильні пропозиції. Сьогодні ж перша віце-прем'єр-міністр Свириденко доповіла щодо зустрічей і перемовин в Сполучених Штатах Америки. Також щодо урядових програм. Зокрема, є підтримки, вже майже 6,5 мільйонів українців подали заявку на є-підтримку. Із них 1 600 000 заявки на дітей. Темп розвитку цієї програми хороший, як ми і розраховували. Очевидно, що програма потрібна людям і вже тривають перші виплати. Ми бачимо, що близько половини виплат були перераховані за комунальні послуги, значна частина йде на волонтерські фонди, і це дуже важливо, що люди можуть підтримати нашу армію за рахунок цих коштів. Є підтримка, працюватиме протягом 3 місяців зими, і це час, коли можна буде подати заявку. І протягом всього наступного року можна буде витратити ці кошти. Сьогодні в Німеччині відбувся економічний форум. Україна, Німеччина, були канцлер Шольц і прем'єр-міністр України Шмигаль. Очікую доповідь прем'єр-міністра щодо досягнутих домовленостей. І ще одне, щодо будь-яких ракетних небезпек. Алгоритм дій незмінний. Якщо загроза і лунає сигнал повітряної тривоги, на це треба реагувати. Знайте, де укриття, і бережіть себе. Я вдячний всім захисникам неба, які бережуть Україну. Слава нашим воїнам, слава нашим людям, слава Україні.
Героям слава.
Бажаю здоров'я.
One of the key things that he's talking about here is 6.5 million Ukrainians have already applied for e-support. It's only been open about 2 weeks. And 1/6 of the population has already applied for it. Talked about where that money is going. And he said about half of that is going to pay utility bills for the population. Just having the utility bills taken care of for a month can make a huge difference. Well, speaking as someone who's poor, the utility bills getting taken care of even just for 1 month is a huge deal. It makes a big impact on what you're able to do. And also a large portion of these funds are being transferred to the military through volunteer programs. Rather than taking the money into their pocket or paying their own bills, they're transferring the money to Ukrainian army. So when people tell you that Ukrainians aren't doing anything to help themselves, they are. There's huge donation drives inside Ukraine that we as international viewers never really see part of it. I got my firsthand look at that while I was in Ukraine, going and making the camo netting. Those nets aren't provided for by the army, and like the material, that's not provided by the government. Those personal donations going to buy the material, the netting, paying for the heat in the sewing rooms, I guess you call them. And people go there and spend an hour or two a day, talking with each other, meeting with each other, all the while threading these camo nets for the military. You don't really see that outside of Ukraine. It's not really talked about. It's not reported on. Another one was Rutia, the Flower of Hope Foundation. They are solely in Ukraine. They have different groups in different cities. One of the programs I was part of and was glad to help out with was the recycling program in Kyiv. They'd go through, collect cans, plastic bags, soda bottles. They'd even sit there and take the caps off and recycle the caps separately because they could get more money for the caps than they could for the bottle. Gold me on the candle makers. Making the trench candles, like taking canned food dishes, putting cardboard in them and filling them up with wax. That's a huge thing that's going on, especially now with winter setting in. Not only is that light, that's heat, that's cooking, in the front line, they use that to cook with, to stay warm. Sock drives. One of the cutest ones that sticks in my memory is a little girl set up a lemonade and baked goods stand that, baked cookies and lemonade, and was selling it at the park to raise money for ZCU, for the Army. It's only once in a while that you see a story on those, but it's just not reported on, unfortunately, and that's part of that's the international mass media, or whatever you want to call them. They don't want the little lovey-dovey stories because that doesn't bring in viewers. They want the so-and-so got exposed today doing da-da. They want the sensational clickbaity stuff. It is what it is. If that wasn't what we were after as media consumers in general, that's what we would get. I'm going to start with this last story first here on Telegram. Center for Countering Disinformation. Forecasts of the Center for Countering Disinformation of the government of Ukraine regarding the developments of disinformation campaigns of Russia. Information campaign with the involvement of Belarus regarding the intimidation of the West with the use of Oreshnik and nuclear weapons. It is predicted that Russian, Belarusian, and controlled media officials will increase the information tension and blackmail of Ukraine and its partners as part of a large-scale campaign of fear. The Kremlin has exhausted all resources to raise the stakes, so threats to use Oreshnik and nuclear weapons remain for it, Moscow, Kremlin, the only lever of pressure to force Ukraine and its partners to comply with Russian ultimatums. Note, the enemy is conducting a psychological warfare propaganda campaign to increase fear and anxiety both in Ukraine and in other countries as a way to gain an advantage through intimidation. It is necessary to resist the enemy by responding in a calm manner, whilst remaining vigilant and seeking shelter as normal when the air raid alert is sounded. Granted, this is directed to people in Ukraine, but this is something we should take to mind ourselves. Every time you see, Russia's going to use nukes if we do this, famous saying from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, don't panic. I can't really say much more than that. And Syrian doormats, I wanted to show you this from Syria today. See, let's get back to the start of the day and work our way down from there. Sorry, I should have had this lined up to begin with, but I did not. I have a few videos of Russia's meat wave assaults being turned back by Ukrainian forces. And this is the first one in Kursk from the 36th Brigade. And most of these are armored personnel vehicles like the BMP, or as the Ukrainians call them, BEMPAs. And artillery coming in and scoring very accurate hits on them. And of course, the FPV drones assisting. And coming at the end with the dropped grenades. There was an update of the clinic that was hit in Zaporizhia 2 days ago. The number of dead as a result of the attack in Zaporizhia has increased to 7. There are still people under the rubble. It is also known about damage to 20 residential and 3 non-residential buildings. One of them was a health clinic in the area. Rescue operations are still ongoing. Oh, what's going on in chat? Yeah, don't panic. This is a video of Ukrainians retaking Russian positions.
Все, пацики, спасибо. Быстрей, быстрей, быстрей!
So,
Быстрей! Укрытие шукаем. Бегом, 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 бегом. Затягиваем. Впереди.
that was an FPV drone going overhead.
Вот этот подход отсюда. Здесь вверх. Вот там блиндаж, по-моему. Блядь, быстрее. Вот там газ. Закинь гранату в окоп. Сильно затягивай. Тут? Да.
Mortar round injured the Ukrainian soldier, putting on the tourniquet for him, and still goes on to keep fighting.
Фух, еб... Продолжим? Давай, давай, ще трошки. Нормально, красиво. А блин, там.
And that is Bravo Team 1 in Ukraine, retaking trenches from the Russians. Compilation video of more Russian equipment going boom. T-72, the first tank, second tank, third tank, more BMPs. No. Some more FPV action of taking out Russian armored equipment. A plane repair center in Russia was hit by HIMARS, and this is the Russians' response when they see what happened to their cars in the parking lot.
Ебашили нахуй. Наши машинки, блядь. Вот моя чайка, блядь. Вот моя машина. Вот капот, блядь. Вот машины, вон.
So, Russians are not only going to need new cars on the front, but in the rear as well. Ammo depot. Well, Russia decided to use an ammo depot, or use a civilian house as an ammo depot in Kursk, and this is the results.
Фу, блядь.
Almost sounds like someone cooking popcorn.
Красиво горит. Нравится, блядь. Ёбана. Выкашиваю.
I'm glad somebody got that one, McPigeon. And another strike in Russia, the video it came out of is a HIMARS hit on the Russian barracks. And this is video from the Russians going through the barracks after they returned. Hey there, Belle.
Это пизда. А.
Okay, LJ, that one only works if people know that Five Guys is a burger chain here in the United States. Those outside the U.S. won't get it. This is another assault by Ukrainian units. Video appeared online showing an assault filmed by a Ukrainian defender on his GoPro. Bullets hit his helmet, elbow, and backpack. The warrior was wounded but survived, wishing him a full and speedy recovery. This is the hell our people have to go through to protect their country. This is not an action movie. This is real life. I know that looks bad, but the angle, it's just the angle of where the GoPro's filming. No, I'm shrinking, McPigeon. Yeah, I'm shrinking. But yeah, you saw at the end there, grenade went off and the guy got injured. He did survive. I showed you before what the Russian supply runners are doing. Tossing the food off to the side rather than taking it to the front line. This is one of those supply crews. So, Russia's back in the Middle Ages using these two-man, one-wheel carts to deliver supplies to their front line.
Держать приходится, руки затекают, падает то влево, то вправо. Перекуры через каждые 100-150 метров. На одно колесо 4 человека. Цель для птичек вообще только и ждут.
They're the target for the FPV drones.
Так вот у нас проходят боевые дни.
And that's how our combat days go. National Guard of Ukraine released a greatest hits for this week video. That was a hole in one. Another hole in one. Tiger Woods, watch out. Ukrainians are going to be really good after the war. It's really hard to show some of the combat footage because, like, if this wasn't in thermal, more than likely I wouldn't be able to show this. There's a lot more out there that doesn't get shown because of the gore. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's war. So a lot of it is filtered. You know, I filter out a lot of these videos, like Operational ZCU. They put out probably 100 posts a day, and I maybe am able to show 5 of them. Here's another Russian assault. Footage of the repulse of the Peters assault by the soldiers of the 2nd Guard Battalion of the 101st Brigade. This is up by Kharkiv. You know, nice having the thermal and the live image side by side. Yeah, you can't see them through the smoke, but you can see them on the thermals. Okay, I don't know if you caught that there, but let me back this up a second. Watch, like, right here, and then you'll see something start smoking in the back of the vehicle. Right there. That is an anti-tank or anti-vehicle mine that's fired from the side when the vehicle rolls through the laser. It shoots from the side, and then the artillery comes in for the support vehicle that comes up to behind it. And here comes the drone drops. And finishes off the support vehicle that came up behind the other one. That one, what I got from Deep State. And of course, they geolocate all their videos, so that's really nice knowing where it is. This is counter battery artillery system radar. Fighters of the 15th detected and corrected a strike on the Russian counter battery radar Zupark. This is like, this is what takes out Ukrainian artillery pieces. So it's really good to see these things get taken out. So there they are setting up. And here comes the artillery. Counter battery that. And here is another meat wave assault that gets stopped. I think this is the one I have to stop towards the end, for the end.
Искренне, да. Дальше будет только хуже. Будет только хуже. Да, здравствуй, Служанская Народная Республика. Искренне, да. Будут и атакамс, и F-16. Да, здравствуй, Служанская Народная Республика. Искренне, да.
Even Ukraine has disco music.
Будет только хуже. Да, здравствуй, Служанская Народная Республика. Искренне, да. Будут и атакамс, и F-16, и F-16, и F-16, и F-16, и F-16.
Дом наш обстреляли. Возвращаться туда опасно. Там уже танки стоят, там уже танки стоят, там уже танки стоят, там уже танки стоят. По правительству объясняют, что все ровно, все четко.
Да, здравствуй, Служанская Народная Республика. Искренне, да. Дальше будет только хуже. Будет только хуже. Да, здравствуй, Служанская Народная Республика. Искренне, да. Будут и атакамс, и F-16. Да, здравствуй, Служанская Народная Республика. Искренне, да. Дальше будет только хуже. Будет только хуже. Да, здравствуй, Служанская Народная Республика. Искренне, да. Будут и атакамс, и F-16. Да, здравствуй, Служанская Народная Республика. Искренне, да. Дальше будет только хуже. Будет только хуже. Да, здравствуй, Служанская Народная Республика. Искренне, да. Будут и атакамс, и F-16, и F-16, и F-16, и F-16.
No, I didn't. You have to. I'll have to go back and look through some of it. Try and find that laser that was mounted on the truck. Yeah, Costco's interesting. It's where they make most of their money is from the memberships. So you get a lot of stuff cheap, but you better because when you buy in Costco, you buy like two cases that are shrink wrapped together of tomato soup. So you better like tomato soup because you have two cases of it. And here is another meat wave of Russia crashing against the ZCU shore. I just want to remind everybody there was 206 of these meat wave attacks yesterday alone. Oh, yeah, UK might be different with Costco because they're just starting out there. But yeah, here in the States, you can save a lot of money, but if you're gonna buy popcorn from Costco, you get a tin like this, and it lasts you. You either need a family of 8, or it's gonna last you a month or two. And of course, I love ending it on this and show this again just because it makes me smile. And that, of course, is a Syrian reporter in Syria using Putin's portrait as a floor mat. Air raid map is still clear. Oh, I get you now. You have to remember, when I'm talking, you guys don't hear it for like 30 seconds. So when you bring something up in chat, I'm trying to remember what happened like 30 seconds to a minute ago. So it doesn't always match up. And unfortunately, that lag time is not something, it's something that YouTube builds in. So I can't always adjust for it in my head. Moving on to mass media for today. Ukraine war escalates as Biden sends $20 billion loan. That was approved several months ago. I think this was like the end of October when the G7 meeting talked about this and approved it, and it's just now getting done. So, woohoo, it only took you a month and a half to get off your ass and do something you said you were going to do in the end of October. Yeah, this is all old news. 4 days ago. Yesterday, Biden rushing aid to Ukraine. Everybody is bracing for Trump. Here we go. The Washington Post. Opinion. Syrian rebels had help from Ukraine in humiliating Russia. Well, I'd say in general that's true. Of course, it's behind a paywall, so we won't be able to read it. But so the Times of Israel. I don't know if they have a paywall or not. Ukrainian operatives provided drones to Syrian rebels in the weeks leading up to the fall of Assad. Syrian fighters received about 150 drones, as well as other covert support from Ukrainian intelligence operatives in the last month, weeks ahead of the rebels' advance that toppled Bashar al-Assad, according to the Washington Post. Citing unnamed sources familiar with Ukrainian military activities, the Post says Ukrainian intelligence sent about 20 drone operators and about 150 FPV drones 4 or 5 weeks ago to aid this group. Russia's foreign ministry had earlier said, without providing evidence, that the rebels had received drones from Ukraine and training on how to operate them. An accusation that Ukraine's foreign ministry at the time said it was that it categorically rejected. Russia, which is locked in its own conflict with Ukraine after invading the country in February of 2022, is a key ally of Assad and stepped in to provide him military support in the country's civil war in 2015. Assad and his family fled to Russia following the fall of his regime. Yeah, it's funny how all these mass murders of civilians, when the civilians finally rise up and are going to kick his ass, they always seem to run to Russia. Wonder why that is. Russia blasts U.S. transfer of $20 billion to aid Ukraine backed by frozen assets. Oh, Russia, cheers. I gotta drink these up. Russia's foreign minister said on Wednesday that the U.S. transfer of aid to Ukraine of $20 billion backed by frozen Russian assets was simply robbery. And suggested Moscow could seize Western assets on its territory to enhance industrial potential. They've already done this pretty much. Foreign companies were forced to sell their assets in Russia for pennies on the dollar to Russian companies. So they've already done it. Well, they're threatening to do what they've already done. The provision by the U.S. Treasury Department of $20 billion using income from the operations of frozen Russian sovereign assets, essentially stolen by the G7 countries, is simply robbery. This is where, like, I'd be sending somebody a form in, like, EVE Online of, please tell how Mr. So-and-so hurt you. Statement by Biden administration was trying in a Russophobic frenzy to introduce as many anti-Russian sanctions as possible before it transfers the power to Donald Trump's team on January 20th. I'm sorry for laughing, but this is just comical. No pseudo-legal machinations. Okay. Abundantly seasoned with hypocrisy and double standards will go unanswered. Okay. What is that supposed to mean? Russia possesses significant capabilities and levers for a retaliatory seizure of Russian or Western assets within its jurisdiction, which is in such a case would be used to enhance industrial potential and implement infrastructure projects in Russian regions. Again, they've already done that. The U.S. Treasury Department on Tuesday said that transferred the $20 billion as a portion of a $50 billion G7 loan to Ukraine to a World Bank intermediary fund for economic and financial aid to Kyiv. The Treasury Department said the action makes good on its October commitment to match the European Union's commitment to provide $20 billion. The aid is backed by 4 frozen Russian sovereign assets, alongside smaller loans from Britain, Canada, and Japan, to help the Eastern European nation fight Russia's 33-month-old invasion. Oh, just drink up those tears, guys. Don't you just gotta love it. Ooh, salty. Unfortunately, Guardian's behind a paywall, but well, let's just see. Yeah, behind a paywall, or kind of, sorta. Guardian visits a Soviet-era coal-fired thermal installation to explore how it has held up to Russian attacks. Okay, let's just move on to the quotes part, because this is just fluff. The power station is a tricky thing. There were always small things going wrong and things you had to fix, but we could never have imagined anything like this in our worst nightmares. Before the war, even a small task from the roof would have been seen as an emergency situation. Everyone running around trying to sort it out. Now rain falls from the open sky, pulling on the floors. As much of the roof has been destroyed by strikes. Russia has been systematically targeting Ukraine's energy system since the start of the full-scale invasion, leading to regularly scheduled blackouts and frequent emergency power cuts. Even in Kyiv, hospitals and schools, most businesses now have generators to keep the power going during blackouts. 2 massive attacks on energy in November have again brought the issue into focus, raising fears of a dark and cold winter ahead. Every time the Russians attack, the workers at Ukraine's power plants rush to try to repair the damage. You know, truly the unsung heroes of what's going on in Ukraine. In any country, really, because even here, power goes out in the middle of a storm. These power guys go out in the storm, find where the problem is, and try to fix it as soon as possible. And, you know, Ukraine's no different, except instead of snowstorms and ice storms, they're dealing with Russian meat waves and bombs, missiles, drones. So hats off to you guys. Very much appreciate the work they're doing. Ukraine's energy companies have done a very good job in terms of repairing damaged facilities and constructing new ones. The situation seems to be much better than we could have imagined 6 months ago. But there are 2 key variables that could make things worse. First is the temperature. So far, the winter has been relatively mild, but temperatures as low as minus 10 C are expected this weekend, and a long cold snap could put additional pressure on the power grid and lead to longer cutoffs. The other question is whether intensive Russian strikes on the power grid will continue. I have a feeling that they would like to pressure Ukrainian power system as much as they can before Trump's inauguration. The Russians would like Trump to believe that Ukraine is already destroyed. This is, you know, this timing couldn't be better for this article. A day after Russia attacks the IAEA inspectors going to inspect the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant. Because about half of Ukraine's power comes from nuclear energy. In late November, Russia targeted substations around nuclear power plants, leading Greenpeace to accuse Moscow of risking a nuclear catastrophe by forcing those power plants off grid, which happened to Zaporizhia nuclear power plant, the largest nuclear power plant in Europe. That is Russia for you. Of course, you guys can go find this story, read the whole thing for yourselves. It is from The Guardian in Europe News. Russia vows a response after Ukraine used U.S.-made ATACMS to strike an airfield. Sounds familiar? Who are they vowing revenge to, though? This is the thing you have to listen to. Moscow today. Russia's defense ministry said that the Ukraine had attacked a military airfield in southern Russia City on Wednesday morning with 6 U.S.-supplied ATACMS missiles and promised retaliation. The ministry said in a statement that all 6 missiles had been shot down or intercepted, but that falling missile debris has caused injuries among some personnel. There was no damage. 2 buildings on the territory of the airfield and 3 military vehicles, as well as civilian cars in the parking lot adjacent to the airfield, were slightly damaged by shrapnel. I showed you guys the video. That's slight damage. This attack by Western long-range weapons will not go unanswered, and appropriate measures will be taken. That is the quote. So, who's Russia's threatening? Ukraine? What are they going to do? Invade Ukraine more? I'm not going to say I hope, but there's the fuck around, find out factor. Shoot at an American ship, or, touch our boats. I dare you, touch our boats. Because that's about all Russia can do is attack our shipping. Please, Russia, fuck around, find out. Ukraine's cheap trolley drones may have blasted an important Russian airplane. Again, tied in with the attack on the airbase. Again, we covered this, the Russian missile attack in Zaporizhia. They actually had to roll back the number of dead because they reported one person is dead, and one of the first responders did CPR and brought that person back. So yeah, you can actually go through the timeline of the reporting of the casualties of the strike and see the number of dead reported roll back by one. Gutters is posting this as 12 killed, 40 wounded in Zaporizhia. Oh, this is both Zaporizhia and Kivri. So, yeah, and this is Russia hitting civilian targets. There was no military base, no stronghold of Ukrainian whatever the propaganda wants to say now. That was residential buildings and a clinic. France and Poland to discuss Ukraine peacekeeping force. If they pull that off, that will be huge. That will be NATO forces on the ground in Ukraine. Go ahead, attack them, Russia. I dare you. Now, again, fuck around, find out. Forbes, going off one of the videos I've already showed you. And of course, bogged down in Ukraine, Russia pays the price in Syria. If it wasn't for Ukraine standing up for itself, I don't think Syria could have happened. Okay, yeah, I remember that was a big thing when I was in school, as they started adding fluoride to the tap water here in the States. Yeah, for a lot of women my age in the States, cooking involves putting the macaroni and cheese pod into the microwave and hitting the button. That's cooking. It's very rare to find someone who actually knows how to cook in the United States. Again, they're reporting that a January 6th rioter tried to join the Russian military. That was reported like a week ago, and it's still making the rounds. That's all I have from mass media, popular media, whatever you want to call it. And still, approaching 6 o'clock in the morning, no air raids in Ukraine yet. The next hour and a half is usually when we see the air raids start coming back in. Hopefully it's a clear morning for the folks in Ukraine. Yeah, that's the thing, Anna, is I applaud you for teaching. Even no, doesn't matter what it is. If you're teaching somebody, it's not an easy thing to do all the time. Teaching someone to cook to save money, that's huge here in the U.S. because that can save you a literal fortune here in the States. Yeah, Texas is its own little special thing. They don't cook, they barbecue. um, that's all I have for today. Hopefully tomorrow I'll have more info for you for the trucks under the Christmas tree campaign by Cars for Ukraine. And it's similar to the NAPO 69 Stiffing Brigade. The main difference is they have these little pins. So for €100 contribution, you get a pin instead of a patch. They do the same branding. Your name on on a plaque on all the vehicles if you do monthly donations. So hopefully I'll have more. And of course, Mercado Media and the shills are already going. Hopefully I'll be joining this soon. Oh, and that also reminds me, somebody was nagging me to update my profile on YouTube. I did. So there is my new YouTube emblem, badge, picture, whatever you want to call it. This is a picture I took myself in Ukraine. So let me get this full picture here. Here we are. Well, this is out on one of my little exploration walks. This is a street that's basically the border of Kyiv City and its suburbs, looking back in towards Kyiv, and Moya Ulubna Ukraina. My love, Ukraine. Here, I'll even show you where this was at. Let me pull this over. Come on, get... Fine, don't. I don't know if it's going to be on this or not. Oh, I got the wrong intersection. This one, maybe. Okay. Now I'm frustrated because yeah, it's right here. So, oh, I closed the picture, dang it. See the road there, the apartments in the back here. Those are those apartments. This is the road in the back. The car dealership across the way. And a Russian drone or missile hit in this area, and this was the reconstruction of it. So you see the building there? That's that building right there. But that's something that nobody that else can show you that's except if they've been in Ukraine. So yeah, I've been uploading videos from my phone, daydreaming. Black Swan in one of the parks in Kyiv. This is one of my favorite ones. This was on the train to Poltava. I don't know if, I think this one might be, a little bit cleaner picture of it, of one of the small churches. Yeah, I've just been going through reliving my my trip to Ukraine and basically feeling homesick. I can't wait to go back. I don't know why that picture ended up so small, but the Ukrainian trident on the hood of the guy's car, that was cool. That was one of the what was it called? It was a Ukrainian like Uber, but wasn't Uber. It was, I can't remember the name of it. Dang it. Okay, look on the phone because I have it on my phone. Uklon. There we go. That was one of the Uklon drivers' cars. Of course, I want to show you this right here. This is the forest just outside of Kyiv. Beautiful day, just walking through the forest with the sun shining through. Same forest, but without the sunshine. I need to go through and clean up these photos because some of them are. Oh, this is that little Tex-Mex joint I found in Kyiv in my messy table. But make burritos, not war. That was down by Podil. Where did that picture go? So I got a bunch of these crepe spoons, spatulas, whatever you want to call them. I got a bunch of those to bring back to send to friends and family. Refrigerator magnet, and that's on my refrigerator downstairs. That's just if you want to know what a new car, this one? No, that was, get rid of that out. So yeah, I was there in Kyiv when they hit the 1000th air alert in Kyiv. Does this say? It doesn't say it on here. There's another thing. I have to look it up. I believe it says it on Kyiv Digital. Sorry, I'm opening up Kyiv Digital on my phone right now. Trying to remember how to open up the air alerts. Oh, I can't remember how to do it. I'll have to figure it out and do that. And oh, it won't let me open it on here from because I'm in America. It won't let me open up the air alerts on Kyiv Digital. I get a 404 not found error. Okay, I'll have to figure that out and get an updated number, but they're approaching 1,500, 1,500 air alerts in Kyiv very shortly. Just to give you an idea of how many air alerts there has been. I'll get that better info for you. With that, that's all I have for tonight. Let me catch up with chat really quick. I've been considering it, Mr. Squiggle, about opening up a Discord. I have my trepidations about it. Let me show you why. Let me get the... People are sending me messages, so I don't want to show names, so I have to kind of click off, and it's like, here, I'll go to Rick's. This is after going through the notifications that I get for today. Rick's was cleared, Greg Terry's was cleared, Viper's was cleared. A couple of these here were cleared, but I'm still looking at 96, 107, 120 notifications that I still have not gone through. So yeah, I'm worried about. I am concerned that I won't have time to be around the Discord as much as I'd like if I made my own Discord. I also kind of worry about adding to the notification spam that's out there. With over 100 messages a day that I'm getting, I can imagine what some other people are getting. Ooh, brown well water? That's nasty. I hope you have a filter and settling system on your well. Frog pee water. Okay, so you do have a filter on your water. Yeah, that's what they do, Thorn. Send a little group, if hide out, send another little group, hide out, and then those little groups meet up and do a bigger attack. Yeah, it's definitely a strategy Russia uses. They used that up in Kharkiv by Kupiansk. Sent groups across the Oska River in small numbers until they accumulated enough on the other side. If a small group got taken out, oh well, they just send another group. Yeah, our tap water is nasty here. I have filtered water myself. I am sending out notifications on Blue Sky. I don't know, maybe I'll talk to Greg or somebody and see if I can do like notifications on their Discord just so, I don't know, maybe I should make my own too, I guess. I'll have to think about it more, Mr. Screwel. Thanks for bringing it up and making me think more about it. I'll get onto that. Oh, thank you, Aussie T. Yeah, it's our water situation in America is really interesting. And not in a good way. So I hope you all like the new photo for the YouTube channel. I'll have to go back and talk with Claire more about read what she replied back. Yeah, 250 plus notifications. That it gets to a point where notifications just become a thing I right click on and mark as read. I don't want to add to some of that. So if I can figure out how to do like an opt-in for notifications, I will definitely open up a Discord and do like an opt-in where like I can do like @notify instead of @everybody in Discord. So Vlad sent me something he wants me to share on stream. God, I hope I'm not getting myself in trouble with this one.
Hello, friends. Today we're going to... Hello, friends. Today we're going to watch a social experiment on Russians, where a portrait of Putin was installed in an elevator in Moscow. Spoiler, they started bowing.
Так, друзья, обрадуем жителей данного подъезда.
Oh, look,
Повесим Владимира Владимировича
mat.
прямо в лифт. Так, ровненько, ровненько, ровненько. Отлично, кажется.
It's not as scary to ride this elevator as it is to get stuck in it. But why only one portrait? There are 6 surfaces in here. Though if they added a carpet with Putin's face, I guess we'd have to take off our shoes.
Так, теперь устанавливаем камеру, чтобы никто, не дай бог, Не украла.
Твою мать!
Now, this is a true indicator that Putin really got 87% of the votes in the recent elections.
Охренели!
О, ну что это?
Horrible. What a spiritually bankrupt country we live in. None of the people entering the elevator even cross themselves. Hopefully, the first man already knows how to leave the country within the next 24 hours.
Ё-моё. Ай, ко мне я.
Я хотел видеть живучесть. Да вы что, чуть не обосрался? Вы что, серьезно, что ли? Что за хрень? Зачем ты делаешь?
Oh, you know, I suddenly want an apartment in this building. Good neighbors are rare these days. If I were the organizers, I'd also hook up a microphone to the camera. For example, when someone touches the portrait, Putin's voice could come from above. Are you paying taxes?
Это вербовка или что это? Зачем это нужно? Что ты вообще придумал? Прицепили со всей дури.
Чтобы не отцепили даже.
Ты прикинь, это...
Тебя же просто изничтожат.
Да, кстати говоря. Я думаю, это мы еще максимум. Не нужно. Смотри, там камера. Потом тебе скажут за то, что...
Boom! And in that moment, the guy froze. Did you notice how he really stiffened the second his girlfriend mentioned the camera? And then try explaining to a police officer that you never said anything about someone drawing on Putin's face.
Цветы, овации. Ой, ёб твою мать. Какой дурак повесил.
Idiot? Strange. She seems like an adult woman, but on TV, they always tell us that Putin is a saint for grandmothers. I see. They'll probably call her a Western spy again.
Я знаю, вот здесь вот камера.
Ну не надо свалиться.
За нами следят. Ну, конечно, страшно сразу.
Ну зачем страшно, правда? Ходишь, как будто человек. Что ты пугаешь?
так там не сделали.
На тебе клюшку.
Мам, ты не ломай новый лист, мам.
Сонечка,
Камера я видела.
Ой, какая я была веселая, красивая. Что ж со мной стало, а?
Hope the authorities don't declare this building a separate terrorist cell. The woman in red immediately started looking around and spotted the camera. Now she's standing in the corner, hiding her face. Too late, sweetheart. They're already on their way.
Ну, как бы... Вечер добрый. Здравствуйте. Что за говно? Ой, так нельзя говорить. Камера со звуком пишет?
As they say, the last loud laugh of freedom. Many say that young people in Russia have brainwashed minds. So let's see, using the example of two Russian girls, how they will react to such a gift of fate in the elevator.
Какой кошмар! Это что такое? Вы что, шутите, что ли?
Here it is, finally the proper greeting to Putin's portrait. Now the investigator can reduce this girl's sentence from 7 years to 5. He could have even cut it down to 2 years, but she doesn't bow fully, so she'll need some lessons.
See, this is why I can't do videos like this, because the joke I would have went for is the BJ angle, but she can't find it.
I love her. I hope everything will be fine with her.
Ой, ой. Нельзя сорвать.
The rare case in Russia when a grandmother asks her daughter, "Can I tear down the portrait?" and the daughter replies, "No." What a terrible reaction to her own mother. A normal daughter would have already reported her mother to the police, or at least complained about her.
Мам. Ой, здравствуй. Ой, как мы тебя любим.
Quentin Tarantino's new movie, From Love to Hate in 30 Seconds, but in reverse. I still don't understand why people ride in this elevator standing up instead of on their knees. It just seems disrespectful.
Откуда ты такой любим?
It's a video from Vladimir Putin, the real Vladimir Putin's channel, so it's already a video out there.
Что ты на себя любуешь?
Заходи. Вот, смотри, кто висит.
Why didn't anyone say when the elevator doors opened, "Oh, I think I'll take the stairs today"? Leave a comment and let us know how you would react if a portrait of your president or ours, Putin, was hung in an elevator in your country. Don't hold back in the comments.
Здрасте, Владимир Владимирович.
So, okay, KGB detected video.
Да, здравствуй, Путин, скажи.
But this is the real Vladimir Putin sent me this video on Discord to
While the father
play it
is
for you
taking a
guys. So
historic photo with the new neighbor, the mother is carefully preparing her child for a bright future in Russia. But now, before Vladimir Vladimirovich, you always have to add dear. You look at them, and pride just tears you apart inside.
Батюшки мои. Что это такой прибил-то? Шмон какой-то.
Somehow the house feels wrong, and these old people seem wrong. I don't get it. Where's the 95% support from pensioners?
Я зашла, даже испугалась вначале. Что это? Я даже опешила.
А давайте мы это снимем.
Нет, я не знаю, что. Ну пусть.
Нет, зачем?
Нет, ну вы зачем снимать? Не надо.
В смысле, зачем он здесь?
Ну не знаю, я, кто это. Я даже вошла и испугалась. Вперед.
What the fuck?
Interesting. Where are all these residents now, and what happened to them? I love how the grandmother first expressed her displeasure with the portrait, but when the girl asked, "Should we take it down?" she quickly and firmly replied, "No, don't. Someone put it up for a reason." You can immediately feel that Stalin-era toughness. It doesn't just disappear.
Издеваетесь, что ли? Ну, в смысле, серьезно? What the fuck? А можно куда обратиться? Я не хочу вот это вот смотреть.
I like how she's saying "what the fuck" in English.
So, Putin, how do you like the real opinions of your people? Do you like it? It seems like people aren't too fond of endlessly tolerating what you've done over the last
Yeah,
24 years.
Это худшее, что могло случиться с нашим домом после капремонта. Зачем? Зачем? Вы видели? Сейчас ему нарисуют рога и усы. Я думала, ты одна будешь кататься. Нет.
I really like the girl who said, "This is the worst thing that could happen to the elevator after a major renovation." Short and spot on, but unfortunately, Ukrainians would definitely disagree with you right now. It's surprising that all these people are showing their faces without a blur, says the guy sitting here in a mask.
He said more than that.
Da. Gotcha, man. Imagine
And then
this.
that old shit
Every
moment,
single
oh,
one
there's
of
a
these
camera.
people
Crap.
actually thinks this isn't a joke or a prank, but that every elevator in Russia now genuinely has a portrait of Putin. Orwell's 1984 script playing out in real life. Why is it still not a kneeling greeting? Such a display of disrespect is so frustrating.
Батюшки светлые. Это не Чайковский, это президент нашей страны. Путин Владимир Владимирович.
The little boy almost guessed it. Putin is like Tchaikovsky, but instead of symphonies about peace, he sets the orchestra on fire, and his notes are empty promises that only fanatics believe. Dear Vladimir Vladimirovich, you've fallen. Did you notice? Even glue can't keep Putin in
He needs
place.
life alert.
Everything
I've
is held
fallen
together
and
by
I can't
the
get
people.
up.
How symbolic. I think at the moment of falling, this man saw his whole life flash before his eyes. Get on your knees and start begging for forgiveness first, then put it back in place. I can't even imagine what would happen if the portrait fell in front of some grandmother. Maybe the grandchildren would inherit their fortune a bit quicker.
You know, it's the first thing
Come
a lot
on,
of them are
man.
doing is
Don't
looking to
hold
see
back.
how it's put up
Show
there
us
so
all your
they
love
can
for
take it
our
down.
great and mighty president, whom God himself kissed on the forehead to rule Russia. I can see that you're overflowing with pride for your leader. I was right. You know, I really wanted to say today the wonderful words about Russians. The trees kept getting fewer and fewer, but the trees continued to vote for the axe because the handle was made of wood and they thought it was one of them. But somehow, I couldn't find the right moment. I'm surprised. This video was initially available only to channel sponsors. So if you want early access to videos or other content that's exclusive to sponsors, I invite you to subscribe to my channel for...
Well, he's saying it, I should say it too, huh? Don't forget to hit the like and if you're not subscribed, subscribe, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I did my bit for my channel today. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate each and every one of you being here, supporting me, supporting the channel. I especially appreciate you supporting Ukraine. Be safe. Have a good night. And razom do переможемо. Together we will win. Because that's the only way we can do it is together. Don't let Russia divide us. Good night, all.